Tea Time with TT's podcast. I'm your host, TT, and today we have an amazing, amazing guest. Okay, so please give a warm welcome to Mambo Tonya.
I got hand claps. I love this.
So, everybody, I'd like to introduce you to the beautiful Mambo Tonya. For those that don't know you, please explain who you are and what a Mambo is and what spiritual practice is connected to.
So I am a Mambo, which is a voodoo priestess. I am initiated into Haitian voodoo. I just did my second initiation this year. So normally in voodoo, there are two levels of priesthood. You have Supuin and then you have a Sagwe, which is like junior priestess and high priestess, or junior priest and high priest. So I did my initiation and I'm a Sagwe, so high priestess now. And literally,
Congratulations.
it is just, I made a commitment to not only just follow the path of Voodoo, but actually to become a priestess, to help the community. So a lot of people that see me, originally, I think most people came to me through Divinity Diva, because that is my business page where I started off doing a lot of readings way before I even decided to initiate or anything like that. So I think people are just coming into the energy that is Mambo Tonya right now, because this is just that new path that I'm walking. But it is an amazing connection with Haitian voodoo. It's a thing that I was, drawn to, and priesthood was not really something I thought that would happen to me, but the spirits kind of pushed me that way. So here we are.
Oh, wow. I love that. Congratulations once
Thank
again
you.
for that. So, who is Tonya
You
without the
know,
Mambo, right? Who are you?
there's so many aspects. Before, and I've been walking this journey for a while. I think probably about maybe 8 or 9 years ago, I had this big spiritual awakening. And I think that's what happens with a lot of people. It's like one day you just wake up and everything is different.
Yes.
And so it came to this point of, let's wrap our heads, let's get more into spirituality. And so it led me on to things with meditation, connecting with other groups, crystal healings and things. So a lot of things that I do outside of social media are, taking classes, teaching classes, working in my community. Everything right now for me is really spirit led.
Okay.
So, I never was in the clubs booty thumping, but I always tell people my booty thumping days is over, y'all.
They over?
You can still booty thump and be spiritual. Don't get me wrong.
Yes. Yes,
You can
guys.
still, but I felt like that I was being led to a different path. And so a lot of what I do now is work in my community. I started growing a garden about maybe a year and a half ago, because spirit was like, do that. Girl, before then, I couldn't even grow a piece of grass. I couldn't even. And then all of a sudden I got a green thumb. I got okra.
Yes. I need some collard greens.
Yeah.
Send
It's
me
really,
some collard greens. That's all
I'm trying to grow a lot of things, and I'm surprised it's surviving. But if you don't see me on social media, I'm working in my garden, or I'm trying to build something. I think I'm a woodworker. I don't know where that came from, but I'm doing a lot of different things. I'm into self. I think it's weird, the self survival thing that we feel right now in this world. I keep feeling like I'm getting ready for the apocalypse.
Okay.
I'm building, I'm growing my fruits, my vegetables,
Yes.
I'm looking into a bunch of crazy stuff right now. So if you were to connect with me right now, you might be like,
No,
but
I might not, because trust me, I feel the same way.
yeah, it's where I'm at. That's who I am right now.
I'm definitely about to get on that. I have so many seeds. I haven't even, I'm in an apartment right now because Spirit wanted me to downgrade to an apartment because they needed me alone. And so now I went from having a lot of land and not doing anything with it. And now I'm like, I have to do, beds of things first. So I'm gonna start that. But I definitely feel that way as well. Like I have a portable stove. I've gotten like lights, storm lights and all of that stuff, kerosene lamps, like a lot of stuff that Spirit is just, Now I have to do the walkie talkies I just heard. So I mean, long range. Okay.
We have to listen to the messages. We have to listen
Yeah.
to the messages. There's some things that are changing, and some people are not going to be prepared for it. And I know this sounds real like conspiracy theorists and crazy talk, but a lot of times when you tune in to your ancestors and your spirits, they give you messages to guide you, to prepare you. We can't ignore it.
You can't, because you will regret it later. And if you
Absolutely.
don't pay attention to it, you will regret it later. So what led you to Voodoo?
It was really it kind of came in with the spiritual awakening. Like my family is from Louisiana,
Okay.
and so there's a lot of hoodoo and voodoo that is practiced there, not always openly. The way that I
Hmm.
grew up, I know everybody always talks about this really great grandma that taught them everything that they
Yeah,
know, and
yeah.
I didn't have that. I had a grandma. What
Hmm.
we did was we did chores that were literally like works, like sweeping your driveway out,
Hmm.
throwing, your ammonia and your prayers and everything,
Yes.
throwing your water out in your yard and sweeping, wiping your windows and your doors down with ammonia.
Hmm.
We thought that that was just chores growing up. And then as I got older, I realized, I'm like, okay, yeah, we was doing
Very
work.
much hoodoo. Yes, y'all was working,
Yeah,
honey.
we
Keeping the
was doing
house cleansed
work.
and protected. Hmm.
And I felt like hoodoo was just a way of life at the time for
Yes.
me. Voodoo didn't really come into play. I really didn't have it on my mind. It was not something that I saw in my
Hmm.
community. And then it was like one day I had a dream, and it was like, you should be doing something more. And I was like, okay, spirit, where we going? What we doing?
What we doing?
What's opening up for us? I had this dream about this woman, and she came to me and she was like, I'm a mambo, I'm healing people in the community. I've walked with you for a while. And it was just a dream.
Hmm.
It made me start researching, what is a mambo? What is
Right.
this? And I realized that she was a priestess and what religion she was connected to. And I left it at that. Probably about a year later, I had a reading from a woman, and she was like, your path is Voodoo. You really need to start walking in your path. Your spirits are, coming to you. I think at the time it was Ogu
Hmm.
that was really stepping forward with me, which is a warrior spirit. He's
Yeah.
Nago Nation. So I started looking for people to connect with. And let me tell y'all, the fuckery, the level
Ah,
of fuckery.
imagine.
You go to people's websites and they're Nugan or they're Mambo or they're Tata or they're Yaya or they're Babalao, and you talk to them, and then like within the third, it's always, I feel like the third or fourth conversation, you realize, okay, they are fucked in the head or there's something wrong.
Okay.
So it was frustrating because it's like, how do I connect with this tradition or this religion when I can't even find the people?
Right.
It was
Right.
like, vegan mambos that didn't believe in animal sacrifice, people that was doing initiations in their garage, people that wanted sex, come
Oh
with me,
Lord.
I'll teach you for free, maybe we could go out and date. It was a lot of stuff. So I really almost gave up. I was like, okay, spirit, you're not showing me where I need to
Right.
go. And I can't keep dealing with the fuckery. I got really frustrated. Thank God I
Okay.
wasn't spending money. One
Yes.
thing I was looking at, I think it was Candelo.
Hmm.
Um, Candelo had something on, and he had an Ugan that was visiting him. And I
Uh-huh.
was like, oh, I like this man. I think there was sometimes when you're spiritual, you feel stuff with people.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was
Absolutely.
Hoodoo Moise. Hoodoo
Oh.
picture. So I stalked him. I stalked him for a year. I would go to his page. I would see what he was talking about. And then eventually I went to New Orleans. I met up with him. And we had a conversation one day, and he was like, you're gonna conzo. You're gonna go to Haiti with me. And at the time I was like, no, I don't feel ready for it. And he was like, yeah. We ended up communicating and making me really get committed to wanting to go deeper into the path with just conversations. And it took me 5 years to find him. This didn't just happen overnight.
Yeah.
It took me
That's
five
what a lot of
years to
people don't
find somebody that
understand.
was, at the time in the community reputable. And then we connected, and I did end up going to Conzo with him, my first Conzo.
I
So
love
yeah,
that.
it
I
wasn't
love that.
something that I planned. It wasn't even, um, I know a lot of people that think about titles
Yeah.
in priesthood get really excited about the title. Let me tell you, when you walk with spirit and you have lineage, you don't need a title. You don't.
Period.
There are people that are born, there's blood ties, these
Mm.
that have been passed down. The title is something that is earned out of respect. But for some people, if you go to Haiti, there are people that are literally walking already in their path, as Mambos. They may not go through the ceremony of it, but because their mother was a Mambo, their grandmother was a Mambo, their great grandmother was a Mambo, that bloodline is there.
Mm-hmm.
You have a lot of people that go and pay for titles um, in Haiti and Africa
Mm-hmm.
because they want to be called the name, but they don't live the life. Because let me tell you, I don't give a crap if you have a title or not. If you're a spiritual healer in a community and you work as a healer, you're going to be tested.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason with Voodoo and some of these other religions where you have to go when you decide to go through initiation is because there's a sacrifice. Spirit is like, how bad do you want this? How bad are you moving?
Right.
Especially in certain traditions that you do need to do initiations with. But
Absolutely.
not everybody is going to be called to priest or priesthood. So I think sometimes too, we have to realize where we need to be,
Right.
you know.
Very important.
And so I was fortunate. I really was. It wasn't on the radar, but I took the calling. I took it.
I love it. Well, I'm glad you did. I've taken a couple of your classes,
Oh, thank
protection classes and things like that. And I just love your energy. You have such a kind energy. You're not, like you said, like the title is not what makes you, you know, you have that kind of energy where it's like, I'm
you.
this, but I'm also Tanya. I'm also who I am. I also love people, and love animals and different things like that. You don't see that a lot. It's a lot of people fronting. I'll say
Your
that. Just
volume is going down, sweets.
oh, can you hear me good now? Let's see. What about now? We good now?
I can hear you a little bit better. Can you hear me clear? Because is
Yes,
it
I can. Oh
okay? There
no.
you
Okay.
go. You're back.
Good. Okay.
You're back.
Right. So I was saying it's a lot of people like pretending, to be not even necessarily pretending. If they have the title, it's kind of like a snobbishness that kind of like deters
Yeah.
people from wanting to get further into it or learn more because they feel like, oh, they're not knowledgeable enough, or like maybe they're not called to be because they're not like this person. So it's like really important. It was important for me to get somebody that I knew was a clear and good representation of someone that was practicing voodoo. Because a lot of it is not, just as you said before, it's like it's a lot, and it's hard to find good people. So I don't want to bring anyone that is not going to, be a place where they could possibly get what it is that they are
Right.
looking for. So
Spirit- I mean, spiritual business right now is $1 billion business,
mhm.
which means that a lot of people are coming into it because they see opportunity to make money.
Yep.
And I'm really not going to bump anybody's hustle, but if you're not spirit led, you do still have to answer to spirit.
Hello.
That's why you see some people that come out here and then they disappear because they're
Mhm.
not out here for the right reasons.
Right. Right.
We're all a work in progress. I am a student for the rest of my life. I don't know everything. I'm a master of nothing. So I
Absolutely, I
can't ever
understand.
hold myself above you because
Right.
I'm a work in progress, you're a work in progress. And I think that's a red flag too when you do connect with people that make you feel like you're underneath them,
Right.
especially people
Right.
that have certain status or titles. It shouldn't be that way.
Absolutely not. And so I'm just very, very thankful to have run across you because, I've been very vocal about my need to not feel like I need to initiate this lifetime.
Right.
Uh, doesn't mean I've never been, but I don't feel like I need to this lifetime. Now, for whatever reason, that may change because as you know, spirit will be like, nope, now you got to go and do this. So
Well, I mean 100%. And I think if you're asked, you have free will to answer the call, or
yeah.
like you say, choose not to do it. There's a lot of responsibility that comes with that. When you start calling yourself, you know, a mambo or a yaya or Inyanifa, there's a lot of responsibility that you carry
Mhm.
with that. We're supposed to work in our community. It's not just, oh, I have the title, come see me and let me be great. There's a lot of
Right.
work that comes in. People come to you. There's things that need to be done, and it can be very lonely because
Right.
it takes a lot from you. It takes a lot from your family and the people that love you. You know, my daughter sometimes will tell me, you know, you make more time for these other people than you do for
Yeah.
me. And I don't do it on purpose, but there's sometimes where spirit is like, this needs to be done.
Yeah.
You need to go help these people, or you need to do this work or whatever. And I need to do that because I made a commitment.
Absolutely.
So,
There's definitely a lot of sacrifice that goes into it. Even just now, I'm a tarot reader and I do root work, but I don't like to do it for other people.
mhm.
And I'm being pushed in that direction. And I find that now my family is calling me if somebody's sick or something happens, or my friends will call me, or
'Cause you're a
like
healer.
people, yeah, and then just call me. And I'm like, okay, before I didn't want to do it. This is one of the reasons why I was like, I don't know if I want to answer that call because of the fact that I know it's a lot of responsibility. My grandmother was very much the healer in our family. Although she was a mother of the church, she was very Christian. A lot of laying of hands and making of
Absolutely.
medications and finding out she would re-baptize. She would baptize the children. So when our children were born, we would bring them to her, and she would give them back up to God. Before we took them to get christened at church, she was the first person, and she would look at them and tell us, "This baby's been here before." Or this baby's going to be something else, or I don't know,
Amazing.
watch out for that one, so
Yeah,
for
that's
her to
amazing.
transition, and now it's like my family's coming to me, I'm like, oh, okay, well, it's a lot of responsibility, so I definitely get it. And my kids spirit made it so that they went and stayed with dad during my awakening process, because I know I wasn't going to do it, taking care of them, cooking for them, it's a labor of love
That's a
in and
lot.
of itself. Right. So then there's four of them. So I would have not been able to do what I needed to do. And now they're older, and I'm teaching them, now I'm being told that it's time for them to come back, because now I have to teach them. I have to let them know where my grimoire is. I gotta let them know this, and they gotta know. So I'm
Yes.
like, because our ancestors did not get, like you said, you were raised and you were just taught that it's a way of life, rather than and not knowing what it is until you get older and you start to walk that path yourself.
It's
I don't want that for my kids.
I think, I'm so glad to hear that, and I applaud you for that, because I think, unfortunately, there are a lot of people that are connected to blood ties where things are passed down, and everything from your ancestors has been passed down. You
Yeah.
know, the storytellers, we have the healers, we have,
Hmm.
you know, the people who come in and they're like the glue that holds
Yes.
everything together. You have free will, but I think when you have children, you do a disservice to them when you
Right.
don't explain to them the blood tie. There's so many people that have had issues where they're like, I'm going crazy, I'm losing my mind, I need
Hmm.
myself into some mental institution, because nobody told them that they're gifted.
Right.
Nobody told them that this was a path that not only you can do, but your ancestors before you that crossed
Right.
over.
They did.
And we leave our kids vulnerable. We do,
Yes.
and we need to stop doing that.
See, and that's the thing with my grandmother. She didn't tell me that that's what we were doing. She would just be like, "Don't move in that house if you don't put that ammonia in that bowl and sit it down on the floor." Like, or
It
go get
wakes
this
up.
blessed oil and anoint your walls. Or who's acting up? Write their name down this amount of time in the Bible and shut it on this scripture. And that person messing with you, they gonna leave you alone. Go and do this. Little things like that. I wish she would have told me, but what she did tell me all the time was that I was a healer, that I had healing hands, that I had
Mhm.
the ability to speak into my oil and create blessed oils on my own, because she wasn't going to be here all the time. Or that I see death differently than her. Like, with telling me I'm a medium without telling me I'm a medium, or that she was as well, because we were very identical in the things that we were gifted with. But, and my kids are now seeing spirit,
Right.
noticing things, singing songs while I'm thinking it, and vice versa. So now they're like coming to me like, "Ma, I want to learn tarot." Or this person's like, "Well, what herb are you putting in there? Why are you putting that there?" So I'm thankful that they're in that space, like this new generation or these
You're
newer generations
hungry.
are
They're getting
inquisitive.
hungry.
Yeah.
I
So
think
I love that.
I think that, our elders did that in a time when they were trying to protect us, because of course
Exactly.
there were times where you could not practice this outwardly. You would be shunned in your community, and we had people that were in the church. I was raised Catholic,
Hmm.
but there were still things that we did with hoodoo that were
Absolutely.
very much, what we considered chores, but 100% work. So she didn't sit us
Hmm.
down, like you said, like yours. She didn't sit us down and say, "This is why you're doing this." It just was a way of life. This is what you
Right.
need to do.
Right.
And I think
Right.
it was to protect, to be honest,
Yeah.
to protect us.
I'm absolutely certain it was because I was literally told this is what we did to, we thought we were protecting. We did you a disservice, but we thought we were protecting you.
Yeah.
But now you have to be the person to actually show your kids and let them know what's going on. So, I didn't want to come out about it, to them, but they're all old enough and they don't care. Like they think it's cool sometimes, but I just was like, oh my God, like what are they gonna think? Even my mother's a missionary and the mother of a church herself now. And I was like, she said, "Well, what you doing over there with the oils?" I said, "I'm a root worker." She said, "Huh?" She said, "Your grandmother was a herbalist." I said, "Call it what you want, boo, but you can call it a herbalist or a root worker, whatever."
When my first concert when I came back,
Uh,
and I'm very out loud with who I am. I just I ain't got no time to be in no closet. I can't be in a closet
right.
not to be in a closet. People, and I told this before, I lost 40 followers like immediately when they saw the word voodoo, because they were like, "What is this? Voodoo, what is this you doing?"
Voodoo,
And
voodoo, voodoo. I'm like, why y'all always do that? Why you gotta put the two together?
they got scared. They got really scared, and they took off and they left. And I was like, you know what? Cool, go. Not everybody's meant to walk this journey with you.
Mhm.
And I'm cool
Absolutely.
with that. If you got to go, you got to go. I'll be all right, and you'll be all right.
That
We,
part.
we came to that fork in the road.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, what do you feel like this is the one question I'm gonna ask because we're gonna get this out of the way. Is voodoo a religion?
Yes. Now, here's the thing. There's different aspects of it. You have African voodoo, you have Haitian voodoo, you have plantation voodoo, New Orleans voodoo.
Hmm.
When the Catholic Pope in Rome, went ahead and acknowledged Haitian voodoo as a religion.
Hmm.
It is something that is practiced. If I go to a Catholic church now and I say I'm a mambo, the priest, none of them have any, they don't feel any kind of way about it because
Right.
it's been acknowledged by the Catholic Church
The
as a
Catholic
religion.
Church
Louisiana voodoo is a combination of voodoo and
and
hoodoo.
hoodoo. Hmm.
There typically is no initiation, which means that you can practice. And a lot of people do with Marie Laveau and some of the
Yeah.
saints that they deal with. But you don't have to be initiated into Louisiana voodoo. You don't. Now there's some people down there that will
Wow.
take your money and tell you that
Yeah, until you gotta be.
but you don't. You don't. Plantation voodoo, I do have a god brother or a god uncle really that he
Hmm.
practiced plantation voodoo, but he also practices Haitian voodoo. So he does initiations with both.
Okay. Now, I've never heard of plantation voodoo. That's like a first for me. So,
Plantation voodoo would literally, to me, it's the mixture of Haitian and Louisiana voodoo. It was what was
gotcha.
practiced by slaves that were brought to the plantations.
Okay. Okay.
So even though that has morphed, it kind of morphed into Louisiana voodoo because that was when hoodoo and voodoo kind of had a baby together.
Right. Okay.
So you do have people that will say, I practice, they don't say I practice Louisiana voodoo, they say I practice plantation voodoo. And it could
Okay.
be they are descendants of a particular plantation.
Hmm.
It could be a tradition that was passed down to them and their family or their particular bloodline. You have a lot of people that move to New Orleans and it's like, okay, they may not be connected to the plantation voodoo, so they don't initiate in it, but they will practice Louisiana voodoo.
Okay.
Haitian voodoo is definitely a religion. There are initiations. There is hierarchies when you come into it. There, with the spirits and things like that, there are certain things as a voodooisant that you can work with the law, but
Hmm.
there are certain things that as a priestess or a priest that you are taught, and you are taught as you elevate in the religion. Just like if I was a Catholic and I'm a practicing Catholic and I wanted to be a nun or a priest, there is a rite of passage to be in that. Same thing with African voodoo. In Africa, there's certain tribes that you do. There's certain places that you do go that you will initiate into that tradition.
Mm.
Um, and it is practice. This is what you practice. This is your religion. And there's a lot of people that argue back and forth that, voodoo isn't, but it is. It's acknowledged as a religion.
No, I've definitely come across it a lot. And I found I'm from Mississippi, so my family, I don't know why they couple the two together. And I think that that now that you say that there's um Louisiana voodoo is kind of coupled with hoodoo. Now I'm starting to realize why they said that, because I'm from Mississippi and my mother, and like they say hoodoo voodoo. I'm like, what are you saying? Like they're not the same thing. You
It
know,
works.
I didn't know that. So that I'm learning something today, definitely from that. And I do know that African voodoo, you get initiated as well. So I'm glad to know that if I were to want to practice, because I do have family from New Orleans and stuff like that, that I would be able to practice that without necessarily getting initiated. So that kind of like stopped me from being detoured from learning about it, because I have like I said earlier, like issue with that whole initiation.
You can practice, but here's the thing. There are certain laws that you need to know the proper way to do service. You need to know what they like, what their colors are, what day that they are served. So, a lot of people get upset because we saw all that stuff with Papa Legba killing people and all this bullcrap.
Mm-hmm.
TikTok just be a whole black hole of fuckery when it comes to
It really is.
people Google a little bit and they think they have it. Oh,
Right.
this is their colors, this is their day, this is what they like. People
Mm-hmm.
smoking weed with certain spirits that do not smoke or drink. And it's like, oh, you fucking up, y'all fucking up.
You're wondering why they twitching.
Yeah, my whole thing is, I think if it's an open practice, and hoodoo is an open practice. I know
Yeah.
some people try to say, oh, no, 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 it's a closed tradition. White people can't practice it. Latinos can't practice it. Asians can't practice it. If you were raised in a hoodoo environment,
Yeah. Then there's an
you can
exception for you.
practice it. You will
Absolutely.
not. I know
Mm-hmm.
white people that know hoodoo like the back of their hand, and there's some black
Mm-hmm.
people that have no idea what it is. So
Mm-hmm.
if you were raised in that environment,
And
it's
it's
open. You
what it
can.
is.
But when it comes to the Orisha of the Loa, there are protocols. There are
Yeah, you got
proper
to be
ways to
careful.
work with spirits, and you need somebody to teach you that. That's not something,
Definitely.
this self-initiation and all of a sudden I'm a mambo. No, there's ceremonies. There are
Mm-hmm.
ceremonies that help you connect with these spirits more deeply. So you have to, you can't go from A to Z. There's a
Right.
bunch of shit in between that needs to
Right.
be done. And people
Absolutely.
always want the microwave version.
Oh my goodness, they're driving me crazy with that nowadays. Really, like
Yeah.
I have a group that's called Voodoo Hotties. Shout out to y'all. Well, we're learning different things. I'm doing like candle magic classes and stuff, and just giving them a place during their awakening to like talk to each other. We're very much like a family. But there are times where I was just talking to one of the members last night. I was saying how people want to skip the healing part that has to happen in your awakening and the shadow work. You cannot skip that. It won't even like you. I don't know what manifestation you think hidden like that, and your energy is like that. You're not in alignment. You don't know anything about yourself, let alone how to bring something forth or manifest something in your life. So it's
Banish it
just
if it's
really
not
bad.
working, you
I feel
know.
like TikTok had something to do with that, and social media in general.
Social media for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
here's the thing. I think most traditions, closed and open, there is a level of respect that
Yes.
needs to be there. a lot of people tend to come into things with witchcraft and hoodoo and voodoo out of emotion. I'm mad. I want to fuck you up.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Or
why
my man left and he cheated on me. I'm about to put him in a jar.
any other
Like,
day they would
girl.
be thinking about voodoo. They wouldn't even be thinking about
Yeah,
hoodoo. But
exactly.
emotion brings it in, and people only want what they think is the darker aspects of those traditions. And that's why they skip. They go, to the kill. Like, it used to be back in the days, root workers, you fuck with my money, I kind of send something to fuck with your money a little bit, work things out, and then we
Tap
move
you a
on.
little bit. Yeah.
Now, somebody do something, they say something, they wear the wrong lipstick. You got people burying you in the graveyard. Like, they trying to kill you now.
Yep. They going straight for the grave. I don't understand it.
But
Why are
they
you
don't
hexing
know.
people?
But they don't know everything in between. What if you don't divine and this person is protected?
Mm-hmm.
Fucked up. What
Because
if
it
you
come right back to you messing with a person that's protected, honey.
exactly? What
You
if
don't
you
curse your own damn family.
yeah, or you call in a spirit that you don't know how to work with, and then the spirit does do the work, but what happens to the spirit? You got it out here. Does it come back and eat you up? There's so many things that people try to, over. And shit, I don't know about you, but I ain't trying to get got in these spirits.
I sure ain't. That's why I'm not even trying. I see them with me. I'll be like, okay, hey y'all, I see y'all, but
yes,
I'm not working with y'all right now because I don't. It's called reciprocity. If you gonna get something from a spirit, you got to get something back. So you need to figure out what that is first, or y'all go out here calling people and don't know what you call. But yeah, so I definitely understand that. Okay, so basically that is what is voodoo not? Meaning, what is not voodoo that you see a lot of people associating
with the fucking people up? Here's the thing. Can you, and this is in any religion or tradition, even Christianity, if you want to fuck somebody up in Christianity, you can. We don't been in church and seen people pray.
Okay.
Sister so-and-so,
my grandmother,
husband, let that hole be cracking down with the devils of the divine. We've seen that. You can pray some shit over somebody and fuck their life. That's Christians. When we go to voodoo or voodoo, we look at these people that look at these horror movies, and it's like, this is what it is. This is, the voodoo dolls, the turning people into mummies and things like that. True voodoo, when you go to Africa or Haiti, is about a community. It is about bringing people together. It is about the connection with spirit to better your lives, not destroy. It was born out of oppression. We had people that were brought, slaves that were brought from Africa. And I have to believe that when they were working with their spirits and their ancestors there, they were like, okay, bring in the crops, let's rain so that the vegetables grow. Let's heal these sick kids, let's keep our enemies at bay. And then it kind of came into westernized, where people are like looking at these horror movies, and it's like, okay, every time I hear this, it makes me cringe. I'm gonna do some voodoo on you to fuck you up. I'm gonna do some voodoo on you to cause you to do this and that. And I'm like, stop saying that. First, it's disrespectful. It's disrespectful because we don't have Christians going around. I'm gonna do some Christianity on you. I don't have that, So
I don't know, because they'd be like, I'm gonna pray for you to be delivered from that.
Yeah, but that's the underhanded. That's the underhanded thing about it. But I think a lot of people look at the negative aspects. It's about nature. It's about community. It's about a connection with your ancestors. It's about a connection with your spirits. It's about a connection with God. There is a God.
Absolutely.
There's a higher power. And people tend to, when I talk to them about that, and I'm like, let's get out here and talk to, our plants, and thank, Kuza and Zaka for growing our gardens and our vegetables, because correspondent to that is, as our garden blossoms, so does our money. So does our abundance. So there's different aspects of the spirits that can do some amazing things for people's lives. They can bring in love, they can bring in money, they can cause healing. But we always get, or at least whenever somebody goes through a breakup, they're like, I want to be your godchild. And I'm like, why? And it's because I want to learn voodoo so I can fuck him up. Well, now you ain't, I don't take people in like that.
Right.
I don't, because I think honestly, if the only way that you're connecting with the religion is because of anger,
It's the
then you're
wrong
not
thing.
really,
That's the wrong way.
you're missing so many beautiful aspects, and it's a beautiful religion.
Yeah.
The songs are beautiful, the dances when the drums come in,
Yes.
everything is beautiful. The energy is uplifted. Everybody's smiling, they're dancing, they're feeling, they're communing with their spirits, and then the spirits come down and they
And
dance
then they
with
start
us.
dancing.
And they give
Yes.
us messages and they love on us, they grab us. There's so many beautiful aspects. And so it's not the darkness. Can there be dark in it? Of course there can be
Yes.
dark in any
And
religion.
anything. Mm-hmm.
But I think when you just give it that one aspect and that's the only thing that you want to see in it, you're missing out on so many beautiful elements of it.
Right.
So many.
Absolutely. So it's not evil, guys. It ain't
It's
devil
not, it's
worship.
not. Here's the thing. I always tell like my God kids and people that I mentor, the Loa and Orisha. Now they're not
Mm-hmm.
the same things. This is two different traditions,
Right.
but they're
Yeah.
cousins. They will meet you where you're at. Say you decided, oh, I want to get an altar to Papa Legba, and I've seen that he opens roads and does all this good stuff. I want to work with him.
Mm-hmm.
He knows that when you come to him with a good heart or a genuine heart, what you're trying to do. And so
Right.
he kind of lets little things slide because it's like, okay, I'll lead you to the person who's going to teach you the proper way.
Mm-hmm.
But when you go to Ledba and you're like, I want you to fuck somebody up, we don't control the Loa. We don't tell them
Yes,
to do.
honey.
And
They
that's
do
the
what they do.
they look at voodoo like I'm gonna tell the spirit to go fuck this person up and they're gonna do it. There are Bokoras, there are people that definitely practice darker work. And the thing about it is that there's certain spirits that they work with, and there's certain spirits that can be trained that way. So you get out of it what you put into it. If you only want to deal with the darkness or the negativity of it, you 100%, you have that right to work those spirits that way. If you are trying to do it in a way where you're, with your community, you want to be a healer about it, then that could be your road. But I think a lot of people, the misconception is that the whole thing is dark. There's only one way that you can see
Yeah.
it. It's not.
It's not.
It's like
Totally is
any
not.
religion or tradition. There's good and bad. There's light and dark.
Absolutely.
If you
Absolutely.
go looking for the dark, though, I'm pretty sure you'll find it.
Oh,
But you
you
might get your
definitely
ass
gonna
beat
find
up.
it. You might get it handed to you. You might wish your ass never did that because you can't be playing with spirit does what spirit wants. Now they
Yeah,
might listen to and pay attention to your requests, but they do what they want. And you don't get to pick how they execute something.
you really don't. Ogu is a warrior. He's a hot spirit, and there's times where I'll go to him and I'll be like, "Papa, they got me fucked up. I mean, my face be screwed. Like Papa, give me the word. We gonna do. I mean, I be all in front of my feeling it, and he'd be like, "Child, go sit your ass down and eat your ice cream and get Netflix." Like he don't even, it's like he's thumping you on the head and
Like,
sitting off somewhere. You're like, I ain't got time for
cut it
this.
out. Come back when you calm down.
We do. We talk again in a few days. And when I go back in front of him, I'm like, Papa,
You know I was just
you know, but they don't. I mean, when you are truly connected with your Loa, when you are truly connected, they understand. There's times where I don't even have to open my mouth. Already taken care of. And then there's sometimes where I do. I come go to the altar with bullshit, and they just like, look, they already know me. Child, go sit down. Go look at your show. They over me. They know I can be overly dramatic.
Yeah, they know their children. They know,
Exactly.
that energy. So now, would you say that the luau are aspects of the Most High Creator, or the aspects of nature? Like, what would you say?
Actually both, because here's the thing. When you look at it in a traditional way where people can understand, Bande is a god. He is the Most High. The Lawal would be the equivalent of angels.
Gotcha.
When we look at Voodoo, we look at a God he's busy. He has all this
Yeah.
crazy that's going on in the world. He's trying to balance the energies or whatever. So he's like, I'm going to send my angels or my spirits down to take
Okay.
care of the things that I don't have time to do.
Right.
Now, a lot of people think that we worship the Loa. We don't
Mm-hmm.
worship the Loa.
Honor.
It's a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
We honor them. We
Mm-hmm.
honor them through our service, through our offerings for the good that they do for us.
Mm-hmm.
You have some people that will send out their spirits because I need this, I need a job, blah, 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 this and that. A lot of times when I go in front of my altar, I'm just like, I love you. Thank you. Thank you for watching over my children. Thank you
Yes.
for the opportunity that came in. Very rarely do I ask my spirits to do anything. Now, that's just a personal thing. You can
Mm-hmm.
practice the way you want. But I do see them as aspects that are honored
Yeah.
because of who they are, the sacrifices that they have made, and then
Yes.
also the connection that they have with people, with so many people that, they don't have to work with us. They don't. They're powerful. They don't have to come down on my altar and talk to me. They don't have to open up roads for me. They're powerful. They choose to do that because of a relationship that is reciprocated.
Absolutely.
Now, when you go into nature, there are elements of them that 100%, like Ogu. A lot of times you will see him at railroads. You go to the railroad tracks, like everybody's like, well, I need an altar in my house. No, nature is the altar. Your
Absolutely.
ancestor altar could be a tree.
Boom.
In Haiti, when you go out there, they got pots, they got pictures, they got everything sitting under a tree or a bush because that is the altar, because that's where
Mm-hmm.
spirit is. With La Serene, when I really want to talk to her, I have an altar for her, but I like to go to the beach.
Yes.
I like to throw her coins in, give her white flowers and give her some melon. And I like to sit in the water and talk to her because I feel like sometimes when you reach them in their element, which is the nature aspect of them,
Mm-hmm.
the messages sometimes to me are
Come
clear.
clearer.
Yeah.
Yes.
But trees represent the Loa. We have snakes. When I talk to my friend in Africa, everything is about nature.
Mm-hmm.
The Loa are about nature. Now, of course, we put faces on them.
Mm-hmm.
We put statues because some of us need focal points where
Mm-hmm.
we need to say, this is who this is. This is who they
Yeah.
represent for me.
Right.
But there's so many Loa and Orisha that are connected with nature that you literally can go out into nature
And
and connect
be
with
right
it.
in the altar. I love
Yeah.
that. So, what advice would you give somebody that's wanting to start to learn about Voodoo, or maybe they feel pulled towards it, but they're not quite sure? What would be the advice that you would give that person?
The first thing that I would do is start with your connection with your ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
Everything starts with them.
Everything.
So if there is a blood tie to a particular tradition, they will be the ones that will open that up and send you on that path. And it's really like when the student is ready, the teacher will come.
Dang.
Unfortunately, like I said, a lot of times we want to rush the process. So a lot of the fuckery that comes in between that
Yeah.
one teacher that we're supposed to meet,
Yeah.
all this other stuff, use your discernment.
Mm-hmm.
Use your intuition. Everything that sounds good is not good. And then you have to start, even in this community, there's a lot of people that we deal with that have been shielded. We know they're no good, but
Right.
we don't talk about them because we don't want any issue with them. But the
Right.
information is out there. If you really dig,
Absolutely.
you look up some stuff on me and you see something that's wrong, that's a red flag.
Right. 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 Absolutely.
So we need to do due diligence with that. Don't just go off of somebody that's talking a good game. There are a lot of spiritual people that can sit up there and tell you a lot of things that you want to hear, but they're not even about that life.
Not even.
Especially men and women, the sexual thing, you don't sleep with godparents. You don't.
Right.
That's this.
We're gonna say that now. You do not sleep
You
with
don't.
godparents.
But there's a lot of women that do.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of women, oh, I'm dating him. How are you dating him? You're not even supposed to do that. He's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be having sex with you. So if you have a person that's leading off with sex, that's a red flag. If you have a
Mm-hmm.
person that's leading off with money, that's a red flag.
Mm-hmm.
A person that is genuinely interested in your spiritual growth is going to spend some time talking to you.
Yeah.
You know, there may even be some divination that comes into it. A lot of times, if you're dealing with a priest or priestess, they can pull on it to see if this is the path that you're supposed to take.
Right.
Not
Absolutely.
everybody is supposed to walk, certain traditions. When I first got called into this, Oya, who is an Orisha, came
Mm-hmm.
to me in a dream, and for like a month, she would come every other night, and she had a talk show. It was the weirdest shit.
I love that.
She had a talk show, so and I was always her guest. And so she would talk to me, and she was like, "So what is your spiritual journey looking like for you?" And then I would tell her, and then she would ask me all these questions. And then I remember one night I asked her, I said, "Oh yeah, I'm so confused. I have so much respect for you, but I'm so confused. Are you telling me that I should be walking a certain path to connect with you?" And she
Mm-hmm.
said, "No." She said, "Many spirits will walk with you in your lifetime for
Mm-hmm.
different purposes." And she
Right.
said, "My purpose is to help you open your eyes to the true path that you're supposed to be on." And she said, "It's Voodoo. It's not where I'm at."
Wow.
So I was so confused, like, okay, so why are you coming and talking to me all the
Right.
time? But she was guiding me.
I
I
love
was
that.
going through a really hard spiritual awakening. And if you know Oya, she's very powerful.
Yes. Very.
And I was going through a storm, and she came
That's
in
what she
the
comes.
storm.
Wreck it.
Yeah, she came in to calm my energy, to give
Mm-hmm.
me clarity, but she wasn't the one that I was going to walk with. And I was always
Wow.
grateful and appreciative of her messages. Um, but she did lead me to her counterpart in Voodoo, which was one that I completely connected with.
Shango.
No,
Oh, and Voodoo. What's the
Dontor. Dontor came
right?
in, and it was like, "I want you to meet another warrior. I want you to meet another warrior woman that cares about you being a single parent." And I didn't know who that was. I really did not know who that was at that point. And Dontor came through when I was in Haiti, and she's like, "You're mine." And I was like, "Who is
Oh, I
this?
love that.
Who is this?" But very similar energy.
Okay. See, that's so amazing. I feel like I want like I'm learning to different things. Like so, um, Oshun came to me in my first dream, and I had gone to get my reading, and she gave me a cleansing bath. It was yellow. I forgot Saint something, and you put coconut water in it. She had me, do the bath for 7 days. And the first night after I did my reading, I did the cleansing. I went to sleep, and Oshun was like telling me to come with her, but she was so pretty. I didn't know who she was at the time, and I'm like, who are you? Like, and I have very if I'm uncomfortable, I feel like I need to. I have very fiery energy, so I cast her away. She's never come again. But I remember the color, and then as she was leaving, I heard like that, like a voice, and I'm like, who is Oshun? I woke up and I'm asking, and my fiance is like, Oshun, that's Orisha. Like, what? You had a dream about? And I'm like, yeah, but it's never happened again. So I'm like, okay, well, did I do too much? But I was wondering why that happened at the time. But when I did the reading, she was saying, oh, that Shango was one of my guides that walks with me. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, well, I still didn't know what that meant at the time because I'm coming out of Christianity, and I'm like, lady, okay. But then she explained the energy of why, like how, if somebody does something to me, I don't
The
have to do
hotness.
anything. It's like she's like, nobody's ever going to get away with anything because of the fact that he walks with you, like, and then
Yes.
she told me some things that had just happened with me losing my job and how many people it was and stuff. So I was like, okay, I wanted to learn about that. So when I woke up with Oshun, somebody then later on told me, I think she practiced Ifa. She was like that Shango sent his wives to get his children. I'm like, well, why would he send Oshun? I would think that he would send like if that's the one that crowned you, but then somebody else was like, "Oh, you have Oya energy." I'm like, okay, whatever, but it's it's so confusing, but it's
I
good that it
think
has
it's confusing.
counterparts.
And I
Of
think that's
course.
where a lot of people trip up,
Mhm.
because I'll have people that come to me and it's like, well, I dreamt of La Seren. That's my mother. She has my head. And I'm like, you don't know that.
That doesn't mean that, right?
And I always tell people, because people are quick to attach to something and put an altar up. And I'm like, it's a disrespect if you're putting something up and honoring it as your head or your mother, and you don't know if that's your
Mhm.
head until you go through ceremony. Some
Mhm.
people are going to be pleasantly surprised that
Mhm.
what they thought the spirit that walked with them may or may not be their head, and in some it won't be their head at all.
Mhm.
Who took my
Mhm.
head? Somebody I didn't even think.
Right, right, absolutely.
So I think for a lot of people that's confusing with them, because they do come to you in dreams, and a lot of people think, okay, this is the path that I'm supposed to walk because
Right.
this. But the Loa and Orisha are cousins.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know,
That's
they're
so crazy.
aspects of the same
Yeah.
spirit. Let me tell you a quick story, real quick. I bought this years ago, probably about 3 years ago, for Ogu. It was green because it was for Ogun.
Mhm.
And I kept trying to put it on my altar, and every time the first time I tried to do it, I tripped and it fell, it broke. And I was like, this is $100. I paid $100.
Like,
So
nobody got time.
we got out the crazy glue, we put them back together, we'll
Yes.
take them back to the altar. It fell, it broke. So I was like, oh, go, what the hell? This is $100. I'm trying to do something nice for you. And he told me, he said, this is wrong color. This is wrong color. I'm not green. I'm red.
That part. See?
So I put it back together and I painted it red, and he was cool with it. He was
After
cool
that,
with it.
see?
But it was that he was like, you're trying to worship me with someone that does not represent me in this tradition. I
Mhm.
do not accept that. So I
Mhm.
tell people a lot of times, before you start setting up altars and making these connections and calling yourself Oshun bumper on whatever your social media is,
Yes.
get divination,
Yeah.
get some type of
Absolutely.
divination. Go talk to people. Actually, some ceremonies are really reasonable that you can go through, to get your head or whatever.
Right.
Know who you're dealing with, but understand that there are several. Your spiritual posse is massive. There are
Yes.
several
Absolutely.
spirits that walk with you.
I
It
love that.
it's your life.
I love that. This has been so amazing. I want everybody to know where they can find you. Do you have like a website, or you just on Facebook?
You can find me. I'm working on my website, and Spirit is
Mhm.
really pushing me because I'm a perfectionist, and I'm just
I
taking too
know.
long. I overthink a lot of different things, and they're about tired of me right now. So that the website is coming because they pushing me.
Okay.
You can find me on YouTube, IG, Facebook, Divinity Diva Tarot,
All
on
right.
any of those. And you can book me through any of those pages. Will have the link to my booking
So your
page.
booking page. All right. So Divinity
Yeah.
Diva Tarot on YouTube and on,
On Instagram and Facebook.
okay. So
Yeah,
on
so check
social
me
media.
out. Y'all hit me up. Normally on
Yes.
Fridays, I do free Friday readings on Facebook. Every now and then I'll pop over to IG and do some free readings. I like to give back for,
Yes.
Spirit blesses me with clients, and I like to, because I remember those days when I was going through shit and I was broke and I was trying to get some.
Yes, honey. Trying to get some guidance.
So,
That's the fact.
I try to give back to the community and everything like that. If you have any questions, feel free, slide into my DMs
Yes.
about Voodoo. Don't be in there.
She is sweet, you guys. She is a nice person, and she will give you the
I'm cool,
information.
y'all. I don't mind talking about it, especially because I don't want you to be lost, and I don't want
Yes.
you to get taken advantage of. It
Yes.
really hurts me when I see people tell me, well, I lost $5,000, for a
Horrible.
single
Yes.
person that is raising children or has lost their
That's
job.
a lot of money for them.
That's a lot. $100 is a fucking lot of money to spend
Okay.
when you don't
I
have it.
mean, That's a half a day of gas right there.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
so
So
thank you
definitely.
so much for being here. Thank you for coming. I really do appreciate it.
My
Guys, check her
pleasure.
out if you want to know more about Voodoo. This has been such an amazing, amazing interview.
Thank
Don't
you.
forget to like, share, and subscribe, guys. Make sure you share because we want to get this family large and
Yes,
seen out there. Yes,
support
we have.
healers.
Yes, it doesn't take much to just, hit a like button or subscribe and to send it on to somebody else that might be able to use some of the information. Catch up on all of the other videos. If this is your first time here, welcome. And I love you guys so much. And I'll see you again next week. Peace.